Hello! Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Liz and I created this YouTube channel because I just love to talk about the architecture of reality. So I thought I'm just gonna share my thoughts with you and express myself, and yeah, maybe I can inspire you a little bit, and maybe you think, oh, I never thought of it like that, but yeah, it makes sense, and I'm gonna apply that also now in my life so that you can create the reality you want. Because if there is one thing I've learned is that you cannot change your reality by changing the outer world. You cannot control the outer world, but you can control yourself. And once you control yourself and the way you think, and be aware of negative thoughts and change them into positive thoughts, your reality is definitely gonna shift. And I think that is very important for the time we live in now, that we have to shift our frequency ourselves, so our reality is gonna change as well. So this is why I started doing this, and I don't know, maybe I can help shift the planet a little bit. I mean, so many people are doing that, but I really feel it's part of my soul mission to contribute to that. And I just love to talk about it. I love to talk about this kind of information that I gathered in the last 10 years, and I connected all the dots. And I'm not saying that I have the truth in hand, but for me it really resonates. And with that, I just want to share my thoughts, and if it resonates, it's for you, because that's also I want to explain in this particular video. If it resonates, it's for you, and if it doesn't resonate, then it's also fine. Because I want to talk about fractals. Because fractals are patterns that we see in the whole universe. I will give you some examples. For example, a lightning strike, in the sky, it looks like the same as our nervous system, in the human body. Or one of my favorite examples actually is the leaf of a fern. So you have the fern, like this plant. And little side note, I think I read somewhere that the fern is like one of the oldest plants on planet Earth, which is interesting. But if you look at like the fern itself, and then at the leaves of the fern, it's like a copy of that fern itself, so it looks like the universe or reality, or everything is built on patterns and fractals, and it's repeating itself. And I mean, astrology is all cycles, so it's coming back again and again and again. And then we also have the fractals of ourselves. Well, what I really believe is that the things that are popping up for you in your reality, it is for you. Your reality is completely different than my reality. And maybe our reality is a little bit the same because we think the same, and otherwise you probably wouldn't listen to me right now. But if you look at an example that 4 friends are walking down the street, and one person sees all the dogs in that street and is like interacting with all the dogs, while the others are like, they barely see the dogs, It's like, oh, hi, but it's not really alive for them. But this first person loves dogs, so it sees the dogs everywhere. And then maybe the second person sees all the expensive cars in that street, because it's very in tune with beautiful cars and knows everything about it. And while the others are like, oh, I didn't even notice that. Or one sees in that street many business opportunities because it's constantly thinking about new ideas, new business ideas. And this one, like the last one, it just pops up in my mind. But it's such a good example that a lot of people mention always. That if you want to become a mom and you're thinking about becoming pregnant, suddenly you see like these baby strollers everywhere, right? Like they're just suddenly there. I believe it's just because it's a fractal of your higher mind. It's a fractal of your consciousness. It's a fractal of your soul. So everyone's reality is different. I do believe that there are people like me who understand reality better than most people. So they are more aware of their reality. So they are shifting their reality. And if more people start being aware of how the architecture of reality works, we can shift altogether into a more positive reality. Instead of staying in anger and scarcity and fear and shame and all these very low frequencies, you're gonna see that back in your reality. If you think more in love and you live in abundance and authenticity is a very high frequency, I think your reality is definitely gonna change. So that being said, another example that I also really like is that of tuning forks. So if you have one tuning fork and it's tuned on, let's say, 440 hertz, and you have 10 other tuning forks around it, and only one is also tuned on 440 hertz. If I, how do you say this? If I touch this one tuning fork, all the other tuning forks, the 9 tuning forks, are not gonna vibrate. But the other one, even though I'm not touching it, it will start vibrating because it's attuned to each other. And it's the same with radio. I mean, if I'm changing the radio signal, on my own radio, I can only receive the radio station that is attuned to that particular signal. And otherwise, it's not a clear signal. So that's also with us, with us, it's also that I'm this kind of tuning fork. And the more I control myself and my thoughts, and I'm being aware of my thoughts, and I mean, I also have that, sometimes I also slip into negativity and, then, for example, with this YouTube channel, am I really gonna do this? If it's gonna work? What if everyone thinks I'm crazy? What if people think like she's not authentic? What if it doesn't work out? But if I change my thoughts and I think, yeah, but what if it will work out? What is the best thing that can happen and it will really work out? I'm gonna change my reality. I'm 100% sure. Because have you heard of Murphy's Law? Murphy's Law is also exactly this. If you wake up and you already start with spilling your coffee over your new dress and you think, fuck, and then something else happens and then another thing happens. I think that is all it has to do with the frequency of that you are carrying at that moment. If you are sitting still and being aware and think, okay, this happened, but I'm not gonna let myself now be in a negative state, I think nothing is really gonna change. But if you stay into that, other negative things will happen to you. So that is also with fractals, I believe. Like the things are popping up to you in your reality because they are for you. And I want to give an example because I do want to talk about this. What I see now a lot in the spiritual community. So there are people, spiritual people, who do things with energy and they do really good things, and they are helping people and they are like aware until a certain point. But some of them start calling out other people who are talking, for example, about the Galactic Federation or about the hermetic principles of this reality. And I understand that for a lot of people, if you hear about the Galactic Federation or channeling and multidimensionality or astral traveling, that for a lot of people it's like, oh, that's too far away. I don't believe that, you know. But maybe it's not for you. Maybe you don't have that in your soul package, that it had to pop up in your reality. Because for example, I have a friend, Michelle, I know you're watching, I love you. And I always say to her, you are such an elementary being. I don't know, you've been in a past life or a parallel life or whatever, or you just have like this kind of soul DNA or something. You have been like an elf or a fairy tale, or she's always like walking barefoot in the forest, and she can sit on the beach and look at the little crab, you know, for 10 minutes. And yeah, she is just such an elementary being. She has this like little jumping spider, and you know, in her as her pet. And I love that, you know. She's doing things with energy work and Reiki, and it's so interesting. But she always says to me, you are my favorite alien. Because I always had that, I thought, I'm not from this planet. I'm not from here. I don't know. I'm so connected with the cosmos, and I like to look at reality like as like an architecture that is like connected, and these different layers and different constructs, you know, and all the systems in these constructs. And I just love that, the patterns and the cycles, and I, you know, connected to quantum physics and astrology, and then I see it as a whole, you know, and I'm so interested in that. And when I heard in 2020 for the first time about the Galactic Federation, I don't know, everything made sense. I got goosebumps all over my body. I was like, oh my God, I knew it, you know. And then I just want to tell you this, because then now these people were calling out, people were talking about this. And then I think, yeah, but maybe this information is not for you, you know, it doesn't resonate for you. It means that you don't have to go into that path in your reality. Let other people talk about that. Just do your sound healing and your energy work and your breath work, you know, amazing for many, many people. Of course, for me also, but you know, maybe the other things, such as a galactic federation and aliens and Pleiadian councils, and maybe it's not for you. But that doesn't mean it's not real. It doesn't mean it's not the truth, you know. It's for, like I said in the beginning, everyone's reality is different. And some things resonate with you because it's a part of your consciousness. It's a part of like your higher mind. It's a part of your, oh, hello Lily, this is my dog. It is a part of your soul. And it doesn't mean that if it doesn't resonate, it's all bullshit and scammers. And yeah, I really wanted to make that point because I see this a lot happening right now. And it's really sad because I think at the end, what we all want is that humanity is gonna heal, is that humanity is gonna wake up. And maybe you tap into the Galactic Federation, and maybe you are way more aware when it comes to Reiki and other kinds of energy healing, and that is fine. I think it's not the time to judge each other. I think it's to make people aware that together we can jump into another timeline, a more positive timeline for humanity. I really believe in the new earth. I really believe in the new earth frequency. I have a video also about that, which is also again about rising our consciousness, being aware of our thoughts, because we create a reality from inside here. And if we are aware of that we cannot control our reality, but we can control ourselves, we can definitely shift this planet. And I want to end with that. Thank you so much for being here with me. I just love to make these videos and start talking. And please, 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 if you have something to say, positive or negative, write it down in the comments. I read everything. And and if you want, I love coffee in the morning. If you want to support me or whatever, you can click on the link. It leads to my PayHip page, where you can buy me a coffee or whatever you want, you know, just to see this as a kind of energy exchange. And for the rest, I will see you hopefully in the next video. Bye bye.